morning as vaccinated Americans are once again being allowed to cross into Canada. Brian Calder is the president of the Point Roberts Chamber of Commerce. This day has been a long time coming. Let's just start, Brian, thank you for joining us, by the way, but let's just start with how you're feeling today about being able to finally come back into Canada.
Well, anything that relaxes and recognizes that Point Roberts is unique, number one, and number two, probably has the best vaccination and COVID control rate in North America, is appreciated. It should be more, in my opinion, and our President of the United States, who is in charge of Point Roberts, should be doing what the Prime Minister of Canada is doing, who is not in control of Point Roberts, but is being very friendly towards Point Roberts and initiating some action. Where's Joe? Mm-hmm. Where's Joe Biden? Where's that lack of leadership? He can criticize Cuba for treating their people badly and poorly. He's treating his own people badly and poorly, called Point Roberts and the other three exclaves.
Right, because of course Canadians, while Americans can come to Canada, Canadians cannot go to America. I want to get to that in just a sec, but we talk about fully vaccinated Americans being allowed to come back, but there is an exception for those exclaves, and specifically for your community, Point Roberts. What do you know about the rules for your community?
Well, I'm not sure that we're reading it correctly. We read the CDSA edict from yesterday delineating what's allowed and not allowed, or going to be expanded, let's say. Mm-hmm. And it says partial vaccinations, and I'm really apprehensive about that, personally. Yeah. We should be fully vaccinated. As I say, we've been very responsible, more than almost anywhere, about vaccinations. 87% of our people are vaccinated already, and we're adamant about that. We don't want to be any danger, not only to ourselves, but to anyone else either.
For sure. And so I did bring up, sorry to interrupt, but I did bring up the CBSA rules now. It just says U.S. citizens or permanent residents who are not fully vaccinated and who are habitual residents of Point Roberts, Hyder, Alaska, and Northwest Angle will be eligible to enter Canada for everyday functions to access goods and services within their neighboring Canadian communities. But there is a little bit of vagueness. What does that mean exactly? Like, where can you go? I guess there might be some confusion.
Good observation. Excellent observation, Sophie, because that's our question too, and I guess it's going to be proven up at the border today when people do go through, because there were about 100 people, in excess of 100 people, with the Fire Chief Carlton yesterday getting the COVID test because they've already been vaccinated, and they were going to go in tonight for dinner and try going to the neighborhood community. And again, what's that? What's a neighborhood community to Point Roberts? Is it just Delta, Ladner, Tsawwassen? Or is it North Van? Is it Abbotsford? And who makes that call? And it's going to be the border person who makes that call. And we've had different decisions from a different border guard on the same issue day after day. And so that's confusing.
Yeah, and honestly, if it's okay today, why hasn't it been okay for the last year and a half that border has been closed? I mean, it's just mind-boggling at times.
It defies any kind of logic or humanity. Mm-hmm. It has not been humane. I mean, people are denied going to their doctor in Delta, their veterinarian, their drugstore. We don't have a drugstore here. It hasn't even been looked at. When Governor Inslee came here a month ago, in 1 hour, he issued a press release saying, "Open Point Roberts now," to Joe Biden. He got it. Anyone who comes here physically on the ground, mm-hmm. and I'd welcome and invite Joe Biden to get here as soon as he can, understands this is a very, very unique situation, and therefore begs the question, it requires a unique solution. Yeah. You can't use the one-size-fits-all.
Just before I let you go, Brian, we know BC's tourism industry is relieved about Americans being able to come back to Canada, but as we mentioned, the border is still closed to Canadians who want to go south, and there is so much back and forth at that border at Point Roberts. What has this been like for for the community of Point Roberts the last year and a half. And how much longer can your businesses survive this closure without Canadians coming down?
Boy, you hit the nail on the head there. Our marina's gone from 850 boats to 150 boats. Our marketplace is down 90%, and now this new Canadian edict takes Americans out to be able to shop at Thrifties or whatever in Ladner and Delta and Tsawwassen, away from our marketplace locally here, who thank heavens have stayed open during this debacle. And now instead of losing 90%, she'll lose 95%. I mean, economically, it's absolute devastation to Point Roberts. 90% of our economic activity comes from British Columbians. 90%.
Wow.
So, is it important to have you've asked the question,
More than
is it
important.
important to have the British Columbians back here? It's absolutely, totally necessary for survival.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens on August 21st. That's the next deadline day for that border closure. Brian Calder, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hope to see you on this side of the border one of these days soon.
I look forward to that, Sophie. Thank you very much.
Brian Calder is